I'll just be staying for the 2 nights, looking around for a hobby farm home, showing them a few possibilities. All lovely people.
So that's Hammond, Mr. and Mrs. for the nights of the 12th and the 13th.
And since they wanted somewhere simple but
He
cosy.
thought of me, thanks to you. It's me, all right, simple and cosy.
Here you go, Chris. 2 dozen Barrett's finest.
Not speaking to you, Richo.
Bill and William want you to whack it up somewhere.
Punters will love it. There you go.
Well, I thought I might stop for a sip myself.
Not until you apologise to the lady bowlers for last night.
What'd I do?
You know what you did. Are you thinking of paying me for that compo?
Dinkum, Chrissy, I don't remember.
You dropped your DAX in front of them. Compo money.
Don't remember.
Well, just apologise then, it's over.
I can't apologise for what I don't remember.
You just sold me this pie, right? A legal transaction. Well, I think you owe me money now.
Oh, yuck.
Evidence. What's it worth?
Well, I'll give you a free beer for a compo, but that's it.
I don't think a free beer's going to cover this. I think I might have to see my solicitor.
She's a civilian employee and officially she's in the Policy Planning and Review Committee. Her name's Grace MacDonald and she's arriving tomorrow to do an internal efficiency audit.
Mac the knife.
You know something I don't?
Grace MacDonald did an efficiency audit at Bangawarra last month. Their detective got transferred to Geelong.
Hello, Mount Thompson.
OK, well, that's a lesson for all of us. I want all the books up to date and I want everybody on their toes. This is a busy station and we shouldn't try and conceal the fact.
Boss, Chris has found a meat pie with a mouse in it.
PJ, Rose.
Isn't that a health department matter?
Yeah, I've got some burglary evidence to collect, boss.
Boss, there's a prowler in Harris Street. It sounds like Clancy again.
Go on. Yeah. Chris, someone will be there. Nick.
Sergeant Watkins is getting a bit stroppy about traffic doing general duties.
Food contamination is a very serious public health issue, especially when it comes to Barrett's pies. I happen to have built this body on them.
Yeah, well, if you could talk to him.
It just had to be Compo Hayes that got it.
Compo?
He's seeing his solicitor now. He reckons he's going to sue me.
Well, there's no chance he might have slipped a mouse in the pie himself.
It looked too well done. This is serious, mate. It's going to affect my lunch trade.
So you're saying that the mouse was already in the pie when it arrived, not as any normally suspicious copper might suspect in Compo Hayes' pocket?
I wouldn't put it past him, but no, it was in the pie.
Suppose I'm allowed in, am I?
There they are.
Which is the one with the wildlife in it?
Well, I told Bill on the phone. Compo Hayes took it with him.
Him and William reckon you should have impounded it.
Oh, well, what am I? The RSPC? I wasn't going to wrestle him for it.
Compo's going to be looking for a nice little out-of-court settlement on this one, eh? Remember the cockroach and the beer at the commercial?
Yeah, it's a menace. Every third drink's a freebie because the beer's flat after he's drunk 3/4 of it.
Remember that time he got whiplash in Paddo's bus? Bloody thing wouldn't do 50k with a tailwind.
I should bar him.
Yeah. You're pretty good at that, aren't you?
The lady bowlers.
Yeah, I heard about that. Richo had a bit of a win on the midweeks, right?
That's no excuse.
No chance he might be bearing a grudge. Cook you up a little special.
Richo's been known to play the odd practical joke.
He does have a fairly Jurassic sense of humour.
Boss gave in pretty easily this morning, didn't he?
Mate, it's not surprising, is it? The panic's on.
Mac the knife.
Mate, I've seen that woman close down whole stations.
Yeah, not Mount Thomas, surely, mate. We're too busy.
All right, maybe not close it down, but I can see traffic getting shifted over to St David's.
What, work out of the same station as Watkins?
Mate, I'm telling you, it's on. And it's every man for himself, all right?
Nah.
Mate, I'm just telling you this. The best thing you can do is find a nice hole and hide in it, because that's what I'll be doing. Now we'll have him.
Celia?
Tom.
You want to take one of me while you're about it? You're stringing for the local paper now.
Oh, just a few snapshots for a city client of some of Mount Thomas's heritage landmarks.
Oh, well, Barrett's is that all right? I'll see you. Hi, Bill, William. Hey, Bill. What's the story?
Disaster, mate. Could ruin us. We've had to pull back today's batch. There's already cancellations for tomorrow. It's not just the one in the pub. There's bits of mice in half the pies we've looked at.
Well, you keep clean premises.
You could eat off the floor. And often do.
Well, what's the health officer saying?
No signs of infestation. The mice weren't living here.
So unless they broke in and threw themselves into the meat mix...
You're saying it was deliberate?
Yes, I am.
I'm afraid it's a health department investigation.
Someone's trying to put us out of business. I want the police involved.
Yeah, did VKC get onto you about Barrett's?
Deliberate contamination, yeah, but we got to get this stuff fingerprinted first, boss.
Well, could you get onto it, please? Mount Thomas is going to be without pies tomorrow, and you know what that means.
Mass rioting?
Blood in the streets?
If it was razor blades, you wouldn't be joking. There's a very heavy fine for food contamination.
Yeah, $50. Do not pass go.
The health department's taking this very seriously. People have died from eating contaminated food.
Oh, boss, about Mac the Knife, one of the St David's guys, he had a dire warning.
Oh, really? Can I help him?
Sergeant Croydon?
Yes.
I'm Grace MacDonald. I'm here to do the resource evaluation.
We were expecting you tomorrow.
Good.
Yeah, perhaps you'd like to come through to my office. Take a seat. I'll be with you in a moment. Oi. That was your dire warning?
Yeah, at Bangawarra, she turned up the day before she was supposed to.
Thanks, PJ, for letting me know so promptly. Now, please, get on to Barrett's.
All right, one call, then we're on to it. One call.
OK? Have you checked into the Imperial yet?
Well, I'm told the police are on very good terms with the licensee of the Imperial, so I thought I'd leave that till later.
Chris isn't our early warning system, you know.
No? And I'm not KGB.
You just tell me what you want, Ms. MacDonald, and I'll see what we can do.
An office. Perhaps a detective office.
With the best will in the world, our detectives are extremely busy. I can probably find you a desk somewhere.
I'm a champion winner.
Clancy, you can't just wander through people's backyards, mate.
Just taking a look.
All right, jump in the back. We'll go to the station and call your mum.
Can I do the siren?
Just a little one.
Righto, mate. Take a seat here.
OK, Clancy, now whereabouts do you think Mum had better day?
Could be senior citizens.
Senior sits?
Or the shops.
Or the shops, OK.
Adam, 2 boxes in my office. St David's boys are picking them up for fingerprinting, all right?
Yeah, but what if I get called out?
Then you show some initiative. Hey,
I thought you'd be there by now.
Wait.
Some nutcase could already be planning his next attack.
Bring back a pie for anyone?
Our detective's very busy. I'll introduce you later.
G'day, Sergeant Croydon.
Clancy. After our last chat, I was hoping it wouldn't be you.
He took a walk through a lady's backyard and his mum's not home. Senior sits are checking the bingo room.
My mum likes bingo.
Yes, Constable Cooper, Constable Doyle, Grace MacDonald, Policy Review Committee.
And I'm Clancy. G'day.
G'day.
As soon as Clancy vacates this chair, it's all yours. Cooper will get you anything you need.
I need the rosters, the vehicle logbook, the watch house book, attendance register and a printout on briefs and accidents.
Is that allowed, boss?
Oh, it's not only allowed, Cooper, it's mandatory. And if you don't know what that means, look it up.
It means you have to.
Anyway, mate, I thought you'd like to know. So just watch yourself, OK?
Welcome to Mount Thomas.
All right, thanks for that, VKC. Mac the Knife slopped in 24 hours early.
Bad sign.
Mate, that's the worst sign possible. I mean, she's out for blood.
Oh, well, matey, just up to one of us to make her happy.
No, look at me, brother.
Forensics here already?
Catch the aroma. Feel like a pie?
I'll let one if you will. Anyway, it's all good protein.
Hey, fellas. This is Senior Constable Rosie again. It's Bill Foster, William Stewart, and Malcolm Stewart. So, tell us.
For a start, it wasn't an accident.
Right.
That'll be another cancelled order.
They've been coming in all morning since the news got out.
Sandy Creek Grocery. Nothing personal, but they'll be getting their pies and bread from St David's in the future.
We're an institution. Barrett's pies were here before Vegemite. We're a bloody... What's that word you said the other night, Mel?
Icon.
We're a bloody icon. We're going down the sewer because some
Do
bastard...
they have a name? Well, you said someone did it to you. Do they have a name?
I wouldn't have thought we had any enemies as such. Would you, Bill?
I don't know.
Extortion threats. Give us money or we'll put you out of business, that sort of thing?
No. Craig Dyer wasn't too pleased when we gave him the bullet.
Well, I told you shouldn't have done it.
Why was Craig Dyer given the sack?
Because he wouldn't stop calling me a poofter.
Mal, there's no need to go into that.
Why did he do that, Malcolm?
Probably because I am one.
Son.
I'd sooner he called me gay or queer, but Craig was never the subtle type.
This has got nothing to do with it.
A disgruntled ex-employee plus sabotage? That's not a bad combo.
Just didn't want to share the same change rooms with him. Man can't keep his back to the wall all the time now, can he?
Sure. You ever make an approach?
Huh?
You know, you ever...
Oh, let's just say I made sure I never dropped the soap.
So what made you think he was gay, Craig?
Everyone knew. Went to school with him. Thought Mount Thomas had got shot of him until... There I find myself working alongside him. Been to fancy cooking school. All kinds of fancy ideas about how to run the business. Mount Thomas, not good enough for him.
Nice car. Angry about being fired, are you, Craig?
Wouldn't you?
Angry enough to break in and contaminate some pies?
I said I haven't been near the place.
Come on, mate. You know your way around there.
When's this supposed to have
Last
happened?
night. Where were you?
I was at my uncle's place in Port Melbourne last night. Only just got back.
Port Melbourne, his uncle's place.
You went to town, what for?
Oh, sorry. I didn't realise I had to get police permission to go to Melbourne. I was looking for work.
This uncle, you got an address?
Look, what's the matter with you lot? Are you on the poofter's side or something? He probably did it himself.
Why would he do that, Craig?
Shut the place down. Go back to his flash mates in Melbourne.
Oh, Clancy, my report.
All right. But no more paper. Your mum will be here soon. I haven't got time for any
Seem
more
to be
pictures.
getting the early shift a lot. Is there any reason for this?
Well, perhaps they think that I'm a morning person.
Not because you're a woman.
I've never struck that attitude in Mount Thomas before, no. Well, not lately.
Yes, Sergeant?
You're interviewing my people.
Yeah, it was part of the process.
I just need to have a word with Doyle.
And I could use a cup of coffee.
Just be very careful what you're saying, Doyle.
Boss, I'm not the one who needs warning.
When it comes time for Ms. MacDonald to talk to you, Cooper, just remember that a policy review person is not necessarily your friend.
No, boss.
I've seen many a promising career cut short by officers trusting people.
Does he mean I have to be paranoid?
Yep, that's exactly what he means, Adam.
Well, if you're ready for lunch, I can take you over to the Imperial and we could,
Stop for a bite. Try one of Barrett's famous pies.
My word does get around, doesn't it?
And William Stewart and Bill Foster inherited, is that right?
And Malcolm after them, I suppose.
And that'll be the end of it, unless he's got nephews.
If you're so keen on marriage, PJ, I can introduce you to 3 or 4 very eligible women.
Well, you're putting your own name forward, are you, Chris?
In your dreams.
They got enemies? Well, Craig Dyer, he's alibied.
Business rivals?
Not to speak of. Wouldn't you say so, Celia?
Sorry, wasn't listening. Must rush.
No, it's got to be an inside job.
All right, Celia. PJ, Ms. MacDonald, Detective Senior Constable Hasham, and Senior Constable Egan.
How do you do?
The name's PJ. You must let me buy you a drink sometime.
PJ.
But since we're flat out, William. Excuse me.
Busy little station you've got here?
Oh, yes, very.
PJ, it was obvious to everyone else. You were sucking up to her.
Rose, I was offering her hospitality. It's an old Lebanese custom. Now, if you criticise me for that, I'll have you up in front of the Lebanese Discrimination Board. Now, what have we got?
Okay. Compo Hayes.
Wants a payout, breaks into the bakehouse with a pocket full of dead mice.
Yeah, but then he's got to get lucky and pick the right pie in the pub, doesn't he?
All right, Richo, the delivery bloke. He's got a grudge against Chris for barring him for the drop decks.
That Lady Bowlers thing.
Yeah.
Well, he's got access to the site, but his grudge is with Chris, not the bakehouse.
Ah, we don't know that till we talk more to the bakehouse people, do we?
No. What about Craig's theory on Malcolm?
Maybe. Talk to him.
I'm supposed to be so unhappy in Mount Thomas, so desperate to go back to Melbourne, that I've wrecked my father's business. Is that what you're saying?
It's been suggested.
By, let me guess, Craig Dyer?
What about Craig Dyer?
He's a homophobic idiot. Always has been. Tried to get me busted out of juniors when I was playing footy up here. Asked Tom Croydon.
Did you have any reason?
You mean, did I feel him up? There are probably women you don't find attractive. 1%, 2%, maybe even 5% of the female population you don't find attractive. Same with me. I don't find Craig attractive. I'm not into rough trade. Not that rough, anyway. Look, my father loves this business. Since Mum died, it's his life. I'd never do anything to harm him.
OK. Just for the record, you started work at...
3 a.m.
You get here first?
My Uncle Bill was here first, then me, then Dad got here a few minutes later.
And before 3?
Where were you?
I can't say.
You were with someone.
Yes, but I can't say who.
Could it be in confidence? We'd have to check, but...
In confidence in Mount Thomas?
Malcolm, the person that you're with, is he a married man?
Aren't you the clever one? Yes.
Malcolm, unless you give us a name, you're not alibied.
I can't. I've promised.
You're impeding our investigation. Do you understand that?
It's not my secret to tell.
We can arrest you.
I can't help you.
Oi. How'd you know it was a married man?
I don't know, I guess straight women and gay men have a few things in common. I just put myself in his place.
Well, switching to Mount Thomas wasn't my first thought.
That's because you're a sweet, naive country boy, PJ.
PJ, there's a guy called Richo here to see you.
Richo?
Yeah.
I want to clear my good name.
What good name's that, Richo?
People going around saying I put the mouse in the pie to spite Chris. Well, I didn't.
What did you do?
Nothing.
You see, Richo, normally people don't come bang on our doors to get interviewed, matey.
Is there something else on your mind?
If Phil and William lose their business and I'm out of a job, right, it's not as if it's my first chance.
You've been known to take a drink, yeah?
My job's on the line. Chrissy's barred me from the Imperial. All my mates drink there.
All right, so apologise.
I don't remember what I'd done. Look, I'll be frank with you. Yesterday was a bit of a write-off. Finished work, went to the TAB, had a nice little earn on the midweeks, went in the Imperial for just the one, had a few more. Next thing I know, it's 2 in the morning. I'm sitting outside the bakehouse in Compo Hayes' car, having a cold
Hang on. Compo Hayes was outside the bakehouse at 2 this morning.
At 11, he's finding a mouse in a pie.
I'm not topping a mate, right?
No, absolutely not, mate.
I mean, if Compo knew I was talking to you, my good name would be down the drain.
Understand that, mate? Not a word.
Compo, splitting some wood, eh?
Oh, no, my back's not up to that anymore, mate. 3 vertebrae shot.
Yeah.
Where'd that happen? The bakehouse?
Come again?
You were seen at the bakehouse at 2 this morning, matey.
Was it just a stupid joke or what?
What are you talking about?
What am I talking about? I'm talking about mice in pies.
Look, if you're trying to put some pressure on for Chrissy, tell her I'll contemplate an out-of-court settlement.
You were seen outside the bakehouse at 2 this morning. 9 hours later, you're finding a contaminated pie. With your history, mate, you can't blame us for thinking there might be some connection.
That's dead set slander. I could do you for defamation.
Compo, we need your fingerprints, you know? For purposes of elimination.
Elimination?
Yeah.
We understand that you took a pie from a Barrett's tray in the pub this morning. This means you may have touched the tray.
Oh. Chris turfed us out. Oh, Richo's had a few, right? Stands on a stool and drops his tweeds, right? A few drinks, bit of a laugh. What's the harm in that, eh? But one of the white leghorns takes offence, doesn't she?
Eh?
White leghorns, lady bowlers. Anyway, Chris turfs Richo out. And I'm not standing for that sort of discrimination, so I go with him.
Solidarity forever, huh?
Well, if one of the white leghorns had stood on a stool and done a strip, I wouldn't have turfed her out, would I?
Well, Chris would have.
Yeah, well, Tykes used to be a bit more broad-minded than that.
Righto. So you're standing out there on the street.
And I say to Richo, I could really go a pie right now, thinking there'd be some at the bakehouse, left over, sort of. And Richo says there's generally some in the fridge in the lunchroom. We can whack them in the microwave.
So you went there?
And there happened to be a few bottles in the fridge as well, so we microwaved the pies and knocked them off in the car with a couple of cold ones.
Well, anyone else at the bakehouse?
If there'd been anyone else there, we couldn't have done it, could we? Bill and William are very particular about who they let in there, you know. So, after I polished off the cold ones and the pies, I drove Richo home and draped him over the front fence.
You what?
Look, I don't want to get into any breach of any sexual discrimination laws, but Richo's wife's a bit strict with him, you know. Gets very stroppy when you bring him home, so I generally drape him over the front fence and run.
Run? Run with your back?
Turn of phrase only, walk.
Did you and Richo put the mice in the pies?
I hate mice. They affect my nerves, that's why I might have to sue.
Yes or no?
No.
I started about 2:30, 2:45 thereabouts.
Oh, must be hell on a bloke's social life, eh?
Since I was 15. Baker's hours, you know. It's probably why a bloke's still single.
When you got in, did anything seem unusual? How about the lunchroom?
Well, there was probably a bit less beer in the fridge than I thought there would have been. But the day previous I'd left before William and Mel, so I thought they'd probably knock back a few between them.
And Malcolm came in about 3?
On the dot, as usual. You're always very punctual.
And William came about a few minutes later?
He had trouble starting the car.
No, he said.
Well, if he said he did, right?
Bill...
I've never known him to tell a lie.
All right, now listen, Craig Dyer was in Melbourne last night.
Yeah, well, I never really thought that Craig was the type.
Well, but someone was.
Well, mates of Craig's. Bit of a payback for Craig getting the bullet.
What about my mates?
Food contamination's a serious offence.
I know that better than you do. We were lectured about it in college.
Craig. Now, did you tell your mates about what happened?
Some.
These mates have names?
Ratton Brothers.
Ratton Brothers.
And this is your first station?
Uh-huh.
Enjoying it?
Yep.
Has Sergeant Croydon told you to lose your tongue, Adam?
No.
So tell me about all these weekends you're working.
Well, that's part of being the new man, I suppose.
Is it?
Well, isn't it?
I don't know, Adam, you tell me.
It's a matter of putting in the hard yards.
OK. Thanks.
Ah, William, sorry, we're just getting some names from Craig. Come through.
Nice going, pointy head.
Well done, Constable. Let him keep it. Are our returns up to date?
No, I thought you were doing them.
No.
Writing love letters.
Had trouble starting the car. That put me a few minutes late. I hate that.
All right. So, you and Malcolm went to the bakehouse separately? You live in the same house?
Malcolm was out.
Out where?
You'll have to ask him that. My son's a grown man. I don't inquire about his private arrangements.
He won't tell us where he was, will he?
Look, I'd sooner he met a nice girl, married and had kids settled down. I mean, gave Bill and me someone to leave the bakehouse to. It's an institution, But Mel's not like that. It's not in his nature.
It's been suggested that he'd like to move back to the city. And if the bakehouse closed down, well, I'll make it easier.
So he'd naturally turn around and sabotage the family business. This is my son you're talking about. Since his mother died, Mel and the business are all I've got left.
We understand that.
I don't think you do. He moved back here because of that, to help his old man. And now you're accusing him. He was born like he is. Doesn't make him a monster.
We know that, William.
It doesn't sound like it. You persecute my son, you'll find yourselves up in court.
Well, Command's been wondering why the traffic figures haven't doubled since you got the extra officer.
Eh? Well, maybe not too many were getting through the net anyway. Oh, a second officer only doubles the hours, not the geographical spread. So I reckon the best thing you can do, Grace MacDonald, is to go and tell whoever it was who came up with this number and multiplied it by 2. You can tell them to stop using their calculator and start using their common sense.
So maybe you should be doing my job.
Excuse me. What do you mean? Someone with police experience doing it, eh? Bit of a novelty?
Look, can we just drop the aggro for a minute and look at these figures in detail, please?
Why not?
Nick, you got a moment?
Yep.
Now, you will excuse us, won't you? Pressing business. You've applied for the watch housekeeper's job?
Yep, that's me, all right.
I knew I should have stayed in bed today. You've always loved traffic.
Well, I've just discovered I love Mount Thomas more.
You realise the watch housekeeper's supposed to be married?
Oh, where does it say that?
Well, it doesn't actually say it.
Too
in so
right,
many
it
words,
doesn't.
but it is assumed.
Yeah, it's assumed that the force gets an extra pair of hands for the price of one.
Unless, of course, you were planning to get married.
Well, if I was, you'd be the first to know.
Meaning you're not.
That's right.
Listen, Nick, I'd really love to have you as watch
Well, if
housekeeper.
you want me
but-
that much, just put your name on that and send it upstairs.
Why, Nick? Why now?
Well, look at her, isn't it obvious? Look at her. She'll fill in with my papers. Well, she's going to drop-kick traffic over to St David's, and the thought of sharing an office with Sergeant Watkins fills me with despondency and alarm.
All right. I'll send it upstairs with my comments.
Good on you, boss.
And you do the rosters.
Yeah.
Righty out, I'm off duty.
Oh, Senior Constable Schultz, I hadn't quite finished. Also, can you explain these anomalies?
Anomalies?
Departures from normal procedure.
Yeah, I know what the word means, Miss MacDonald. I just don't think there are any.
Well, Constable Cooper has scarcely had a weekend off since he got here.
It's good experience for him. In the absence of more senior officers, it gives him a chance to exercise more authority.
Do you mind if I write that down? I haven't heard it quite in that form before.
So you're going to go for a beer after work?
That's entirely possible, Constable. Now tell me why Sergeant Croydon never seems to draw nights and weekends.
Now, so you'd really have to talk to the boss about the rosters.
I'm a great believer in giving junior officers a chance to exercise greater responsibility.
On afternoons, evenings and weekends. Now, I've noticed that you've put in a request for extra manpower, Sergeant Croydon. Wouldn't a simple strategy to address the problem be to incorporate yourself more effectively into the roster?
It's common practice to give younger officers more experience.
Oh, well, that may have been the way in the past for the officer in charge to roster himself on the day shift. But this is 1995, Sergeant. You have to lead by example. You have to show that you're an efficient and effective officer.
Have you got any evidence to say that I'm not an efficient officer? We're all team players here.
Well, Constable Cooper does a lot of work on evenings and weekends.
Has he been complaining?
No. He seemed to think it was part of the system. Doing the hard yards was how he put it.
Well, we've all done that in our time. Actually, it's Patterson who does the rosters. Patterson? Who? Ms. MacDonald's just pointed out that Cooper's been drawing a lot of afternoons and weekends.
A new man, boss. You said yourself, did. At least I thought you... No, I think I probably got that wrong. Did I?
Just shuffle the rosters a little. Don't let Cooper get in a rut.
All right, so Richo was flaked out, so Compo could have done it.
His prints are in the lunchroom, but not on the machinery. It doesn't rule him out.
Craig's alibi is good.
Malcolm won't give his.
Well, if necessary, we'll lock him up till he comes to a better mind. I mean, Bill and William don't have alibis.
But why would they do it? No, I still reckon it's most likely one of Craig's mates. We haven't checked them all.
Who's left the milk out again?
Eh?
And who's filled the fridge with meat pies? Have you filled my fridge with mouse pies?
Boss, they're evidence. Unless we refrigerate them, they're going to go off.
You're going to have to freeze them, PJ. I know you're a bachelor, but this is ridiculous. How long do you reckon they're going to last in the fridge? You're a woman, Egan. Tell him.
We have been looking for somewhere else, boss.
Your place, that brothel you call a house, there's a freezer there.
Hey, boss, it's full of food.
Food?
Food.
When you blokes had me over for a so-called meal, it was full of TV dinners. There was no food to be seen. You've never heard of cooking, have you?
It's the only way I can put the hours in, boss.
Oh, God almighty. I don't believe it.
Now, I'll tell you what else we got at fridge at home. It's some Barrett's pies.
No, that'd be right.
They're rat's ones, though.
I ran out of mouse ones, did you?
Mm-hmm.
Max and away.
You can't live on a diet of frozen food.
On nickname terms now, are we, mate?
Yes, mate, we came up with a couple for you, actually. Grumpy, Doc, Happy.
I just don't want my officers living entirely on TV dinners.
Ah, good evening to you, Grace MacDonald.
Evening, Senior Constable. Mineral water, please. Oh, we didn't finish our talk. Sergeant Croydon always worry about his team's diet?
Come again?
The sermon on TV dinners.
Oh, that's Detective Senior Constable Hasham was storing the contaminated pies in the station fridge because there wasn't any room at ours. And Sergeant Croydon volunteered to take them home and put them in his freezer.
Oh, his wife must be a saint.
It's a bit early for that. She's only been dead 3 months.
I'm sorry. No one told me.
Well, that's the problem with you people, isn't it? I mean, you're up to speed on the professional matters, but you're a bit weak on the personal ones.
Can we just look at these figures in detail now?
Yeah, all right.
Would you like some overtime?
Not really.
You guys got a minute? Yep. Before you start hassling me, mates, there's no way them or me could have done it.
Yeah, why not?
We couldn't have got in. That place is like Fort Knox. Last year they had a break-in, and since then the locks, they're really something else, if you know what I mean. Unless someone smashed down a door or something.
No signs of forced entry. And even if you handed back your keys, you could have had copies made.
They changed the locks when I got the sack.
Oh, yeah, and how do you know that, Craig? And you haven't been back.
I went to get some stuff from my locker. Keys
Hi,
didn't work.
Chris,
I
I'm
went
just
back when
looking
someone
for
else
Nick.
was
Have
there,
you
okay?
seen him? Yeah, it's in the parlour.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
So you can leave my mates alone.
And you're happy in the service?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much. Very happy. Very happy indeed. Very happy.
Hello, Nick.
How you going, Sash?
Going to introduce me to your friend?
Certainly. This is Grace MacDonald, and Grace is a policy review person from head office. She's been asking me all sorts of interesting questions about the traffic operation.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for your time.
No worries.
Bye.
Oh, what a hatchet. She's been running the cleaners through the office all week. We're all freaking out about our jobs.
You're not going to leave Mount Thomas?
No, not if I can help it.
Not that it'd make much difference.
Pardon?
As far as I'm concerned, you might as well not be living here now. Nick, you won't take me anywhere. You won't even be seen with me in public.
Look, Sasha, Billy's only been dead a month. Now, you know how quick this town is to judge.
Oh, so I'm good enough to sleep with, but I'm not good enough to be seen with.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to protect you.
You're trying to protect yourself.
You're all right. Well, I'm trying to protect both of us. Does that satisfy you?
No, it doesn't. I feel like I'm hidden away. I mean, you can come in here with your mates, with your, what do you call a policy person woman from Melbourne, but I'm supposed to be locked away like a nun. Well, I've had it.
Now, look, you want to do me a big favour? Can we go somewhere else and talk about it?
No, Nick, I want to talk about it out there. In the bar where people can see us and gossip about us just as if we were normal people. And if we can't do that, then I have to assume you are ashamed of me.
Well, I'd love to think I was Richard and Compo. They had the key, and in Compo's case, the motive.
Yeah, but not the sobriety. I mean, if the mice had just fallen into their hands as if by
chuck them in the meat
magic.
mix for a laugh.
Yeah.
I reckon they were sober enough to catch the little buggers.
But why would any of the family want to do it?
Well, we don't know who Malcolm's friend is.
Sorry?
We got ourselves a switch hitter in town, boss. Who?
Kiss him and he'll tell
Shut
you.
up. Mal is with a married man.
Won't name him.
Not in Mount Thomas. I mean, Sydney or Melbourne, not in Mount Thomas.
Everywhere, boss.
Now, you know, could he have done it?
Oh, I wouldn't have thought so. He's a decent kid. I had him in the juniors, a bit prone to the knuckle. The others used to call him Boadicea. Huh? Nobody learns history anymore, do they? Boadicea, the fighting queen. There's no harm in him. He was a bit prone to the old elbow when he went in for the ball, but... Evening, Celia.
Nice to see Nick counselling Sasha like that.
Yeah, we do courses in it.
Little bird tells me there's a small problem at Barrett's Pies. So what's the story?
Is this any of your business, Celia?
Well, real estate is my business, Tom. And there has been a more than generous offer, and I thought if...
What sort of offer?
For the site, prime location, you could put 20 townhouses on it. And if the cousins could be tempted to sell...
This morning. That's why you were doing that photography.
A few additional shots for possible alternative interests.
Celia, how much money's involved?
Oh, that's a professional confidence.
What, $500,000?
No.
But high six figures.
Quite high.
Could buy a lot of mice.
The offer for the bakehouse site was made to Dad and Uncle Bill. I think you should ask them.
We're asking you.
Who made the offer?
Townhouse Estate saw an opening. I think Celia Donald might have put them onto it.
Okay. Good offer.
I wasn't in on the discussions. All I know is it was refused.
Why is that? Family tradition?
Could have been.
What are your ambitions, Mel?
What?
Oh, come on. You trained as a chef, and now you're in a country town making bread and pies.
A homosexual in a homophobic town?
Surely you must want a restaurant in the city.
What are you two talking about?
Money?
You stand to inherit your father's half of the business.
Plus your uncle's if he leaves it to you.
But that could take years. On the other hand, if you sold now, well, then that would free up the
How
cash.
well do you know the people at Townhouse Investments, Mel?
The married man you're sleeping with. Is he one of them?
You're out of your minds. You think I'm sleeping with a real estate developer and sabotaging my father's business to help my lover close a deal so that I can set myself up in a city restaurant?
You might think that you're doing your father a favour.
By taking the one thing he's got left?
The real estate might be worth more than the business. If you sold the land, the interest that you get on it might be worth more than baking pies.
You bastards need your heads read.
Yeah, there was an offer, but we discussed it inside of the family and decided not to take it.
Right, and you've had no pressure since?
No.
No threats, no.
No, none.
And they haven't been back to you?
Well, the offer's still on the table. We might have to go back and consider it again in the light of recent events.
We told them no. It was like they hired to ask.
How's that?
We're an institution. We had the centenary 10 years back. Mount Thomas without Barrett's pies. I just can't imagine it.
You had no pressure since?
No.
No threats, no.
None.
They haven't been back to you?
No point. They know we don't want to sell.
But the offer's still on the table, I imagine.
Absolutely not.
You won't be looking at it again in light of recent events.
How many ways do you want me to put it? Barrett's isn't for sale. It wasn't for sale when Celia Donald sicked those smooth-talking city bastards onto us in the first place. And it is not for sale now.
The offer from Townhouse Estates is still on the table.
And since the food scare, it's getting hotter by the minute, eh, Celia?
Neither Townhouse Estates nor I would have anything to do with such a practice.
But we're right in thinking there's disagreement inside the family.
Robust discussion. There often is when money's involved.
And since that discussion, have you been dealing with both Bill and William?
Or just one of them?
Celia.
What? What?
You're still talking to the developers, Bill.
So?
Your partner doesn't know that.
Well, William? He's got no head for business.
Well, you can see how it looks.
I don't care how it looks.
You talking to the developers behind his back?
Something happens to the business, goes down the tubes.
I got a right to a life. There's a widow, Maudie Daniels. You know her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we used to go out dancing together in the old days. You wouldn't think it of me now, but I was pretty good on the floor back then. But I worked baker's hours. So Maudie married a clerk who didn't have to start work at 3 in the morning. Well, about a year ago he died, and Maudie and me, we've been seeing a bit of each other. 50s nights at the club, you know. And I haven't lost it. The jive, the hop, you name it. And I'm still working baker's hours, aren't I? And I have one chance to cash it all in. Get married, have a life. And William says no. He likes making pies. He's happy as Larry at it. 2 million, 4 million, he can't make too many of them. Know the last time I had a pie? 1965. I choked on it.
So the offer was still on the table?
Not as far as my cousin William was concerned. I was still at him a week ago and he gave it the big knockback again. And Maudie's seeing another bloke as well. Retired bank manager. I just can't bear to lose her again. The only woman I ever loved. I couldn't bear to lose her again. So I trapped the mice. I got a parrot and they come for the sunflower seed. Worst part was killing the poor little beggars.
I suppose the health department will have to charge him.
Contaminated food, it's serious.
And they'll sell?
His half will cover the legals and the fine.
Hope Maud's worth it.
I'm just leaving now, Sergeant Croydon. Oh, sorry I didn't get a chance to talk to you two.
Just as long as he didn't make any uninformed decisions.
Oh, books told the story. Thanks.
No.
Ross? What's she talking about?
Traffic. It's traffic that's going.
No. Rose, I'm afraid you're going back to St David's. I'm sorry.
And me?
I'm stuck with you.
Boss, we're a good team.
Is it my efficiency? Has there been a complaint?
No complaints. Your efficiency's not in question. The bean counters have counted the beans and we get one detective only.
Maybe it's not too late to go and give her a bloody ticket.
I'm sorry, mate. I really am.
Thanks, PJ.
They can't keep in uniform forever.
Oh, yes, they bloody can.
Rose, if I had any say in the matter, this wouldn't be happening. I'm really sorry things have turned out this way.
Thanks, boss.
Anyway, you look great in uniform.
William just told me Bill did it for love.
Oh, all together?
Oh, you callous bastard.
And again?
Oh. It's a terrible thing about love, Chris. Live with it, live without it. It's always a prize.
Ooh, backs to the wall, Mal's in town.
Better be insured, Chris. I think I've done my back again.
Glad to see you.
You gonna do something about this?
Oh, absolutely. All right, what are you waiting for?
I'll just be staying for the 2 nights, looking around for a hobby farm. I'm showing them a few possibilities. I'll not meet people.
So that's Hammond, Mr. and Mrs. for the nights of the 12th and the 13th.
And since they wanted somewhere simple but
He
cosy.
thought of me, thanks to you. It's me, all right, simple and cosy.
Here you go, Chris. 2 dozen Barrett's finest.
Not speaking to you, Richard.
Bill and William want you to whack it up somewhere.
Punters will love it. There you go.
Well, I thought I might stop for a sip myself.
Not until you apologise to the lady bowlers for last night.
What'd I do?
You know what you did. Are you thinking of paying me for that compo?
Deacon Chrissy, I don't remember.
You dropped your DAX in front of them. Compo money.
Don't remember.
Well, just apologise then, it's over.
I can't apologise for what I don't remember.
You just sold me this pie, right? A legal transaction. Well, I think you owe me money now.
Oh, yuck!
Evidence. What's it worth?
Well, I'll give you a free beer for a compo, but that's it.
I don't think a free beer's going to cover this. I think I might have to see my solicitor.
She's a civilian employee and officially she's in the Policy Planning and Review Committee. Her name's Grace MacDonald and she's arriving tomorrow to do an internal efficiency audit.
Mac the knife.
You know something I don't?
Grace MacDonald did an efficiency audit at Bangawarra last month. Their detective got transferred to Geelong.
Hello, man.
OK, well, that's a lesson for all of us. I want all the books up to date and I want everybody on their toes. This is a busy station and we shouldn't try and conceal the fact.
Boss, Chris has found a meat pie with a mouse in it.
PJ, Rose.
Isn't that a health department matter?
Yeah, I've got some burglary evidence to collect, boss.
Boss, there's a prowler in Harris Street. It sounds like Clancy again.
Oh, go on. Chris, someone will be there. Nick.
Sergeant Watkins is getting a bit stroppy about traffic doing general duties.
Food contamination is a very serious public health issue, especially when it comes to Barrett's pies. I happen to have built this body on them.
Yeah, well, if you could talk to him.
It just had to be Compo Hayes that got it.
Compo?
He's seeing his solicitor now. He reckons he's going to sue me.
Well, there's no chance he might have slipped a mouse in the pie himself.
It looked too well done. This is serious, mate. It's going to affect my lunch trade.
So you're saying that the mouse was already in the pie when it arrived, not as any normally suspicious copper might suspect in Compo Hayes' pocket?
I wouldn't put it past him, but no, it was in the pie.
Suppose I'm allowed in, am I?
There they are.
Which is the one with the wildlife in it?
Well, I told Bill on the phone. Compo Hayes took it with him.
Him and William reckon you should have impounded it.
Well, what am I? The RSPCA? I wasn't going to wrestle him for it.
Compo's going to be looking for a nice little out-of-court settlement on this one, eh? Remember the cockroach and the beer at the commercial?
Yeah, it's a menace. Every third drink's a freebie because the beer's flat after he's drunk 3/4 of it.
Remember that time he got whiplash in Paddo's bus? Bloody thing wouldn't do 50k with a tailwind.
I should bar him.
Yeah. You're pretty good at that, aren't you?
The lady bowlers.
Yeah, I heard about that. Richo had a bit of a win on the midweeks, right?
That's no excuse.
No chance he might be bearing a grudge. Cook you up a little special.
Richo's been known to play the odd practical joke.
He does have a fairly Jurassic sense of humour.
Boss gave in pretty easily this morning, didn't he?
Mate, it's not surprising, is it? The panic's on.
Mac the knife.
Mate, I've seen that woman close down whole stations.
Yeah, not Mount Thomas, surely, mate. We're too busy.
All right, maybe not close it down, but I can see traffic getting shifted over to St David's.
What, work out of the same station as Watkins?
Mate, I'm telling you, it's on. And it's every man for himself, all right?
Nah.
Mate, I'm just telling you this. The best thing you can do is find a nice hole and hide in it, because that's what I'll be doing. Now we'll have him.
Celia?
Tom.
You want to take one of me while you're about it? You're stringing for the local paper now.
Oh, just a few snapshots for a city client of some of Mount Thomas's heritage landmarks.
Oh, well, Barrett's